I think my husband is depressed. Men, please help? Therapy. Nothing a single Redditor can say will equal the long-term professional help he needs. Please see Our Depression and Our Depression Partners. If you can afford it, be physically present with him. Spend as much time with him and be open to all of his emotions and hold him, literally and emotionally even, as a short term for what he's going through. Therapy is the main goal, but love and kindness are healing in general. I was in a similar state of depression, and a blood test revealed that my vitamin D level was too low. My doctor prescribed vitamin D, and within a week I had what I can only describe as an awakening. That was 10 years ago, and I've been fine since. Ask him what his dad and grandfather would think of him giving up. Wouldn't they want him to get help? Wouldn't they want him to be with his kids and wife? He may be suicidal. Go easy. Therapy. Group therapy is extremely helpful. In addition to professional help, which I'm guessing he is not too keen on. It's gotta be tough, but just tell him you love him, be nice, and be patient. I went through a tough spot, and usually it's a phase. Good luck. You're an awesome wife to be trying this hard. He'll realize it one day, hopefully before you stop working so hard and move on. I was in a temporary depression, which resulted from an injury that made me pretty useless for a month, to the point I needed help to get in and out of a chair and cutting my food. The injury and the drugs I was taking to deal with the injury threw me into a depression, and I didn't even know it. In my mind, everything was normal, but my family was afraid, and some close friends reached out several times a day to check in on me. Things improved once I was able to regain mobility and get off the pain medication. He ultimately needs therapy to deal with the loss he experienced. He needs to stop the drinking, and he needs to find something to fight for. Get trusted friends involved to raise his spirits and help to convince him to get help. I just worked my way through a major depression. First, my dad died. We was never close, we clashed a lot over the years. In the end we got close, so that hurt a lot cause I finally had a dad. Then the state fucked me over and took my kids, which I'm still fighting for. After that, my best friend of over 20 years passed away. My mom died a few months later. I'm also 2,000 miles away from where I spent most of my life. I too started drinking every damn night alone. I was in a relationship, but she wasn't there for me in any such way, so I had to fight my demons alone. I replaced the drinking with edibles and weaned myself. Then I quit those. I still have a few drinks on the weekends, but nothing crazy. I also changed my diet around a bit and quit drinking soda. I was always an active kinda guy who really liked cycling. So I got an e-bike and started riding back and forth to work or whatever. I've lost 50 pounds in the last 6 months. I'm in great shape. The depression lifted besides here and there, but it's not crippling or even close. I couldn't afford therapy, plus I have a hard time opening up. So the next best thing was to start making small changes. After a while it all adds up. I hope this helps a little, cause I really went through hell and don't wish anyone to feel how I felt. All this therapy recommendations, I'll talk to him about what he would like to do, maybe go for an adventure, or a vacation. Switch things up, take a year off and take time to decompress. He sounds bored as fuck with the life he is living. A small vacation, someplace where you and your spouse can disconnect from the everyday life. Or explore a different culture overseas if situation affords, will definitely help you. I have been in that situation before. This is a hard one, he's going through a lot. Don't blame him or yourself. Sometimes life hits like a hurricane. All you can do is try to find shelter and reduce injuries as much as possible. Don't let yourself get mangled in this storm. As a man, sometimes I think that when I am weak, sad, anything, the woman I am with will help me but look down on me. That I am not strong enough, and that eventually the relationship will fall apart. It's scary that I can't be relied on. When I feel like I can't do my job or provide something, I find myself wanting to isolate, because I can't face the rejection. What I wanted in all those times was to be held and told that she hears me, she loves me, and she will sit with me and not expect me to do anything, not even to be happy, to cheer up, just that she will be there because she wants to be. Try getting a veteran organization to reach out to him and have him join. Irrelevant Warriors always has events going on. Being around those like-minded individuals may help and encourage him to open up to them rather than professional therapy. P.S. Military generally will refuse to go see the wizard, so maybe being involved in a vet org will help. Lots of different recommendations. One ID: consider if exploring an outdoors-related activity he has loved in the past. For example, if he loves four-wheeling on his farm, or perhaps he is big into fishing or boating, he needs to go outside and be reminded of what life can be like. Do it with him and it can be that much better. I think the suggestions for therapy and medication are great, but I also think sometimes the only thing we can do is let someone process and grieve how they can. The thing about grief is that it makes no sense, but it does at the same time. In the grand scheme of things, 3 years ago, and last year is really not that long ago. I personally think major losses, like that of a parent, is just impossible to truly move on from. It's soul-shattering. It sounds like he and his fathers were close. How do you just move on? You say you're lost how to help, but I think maybe it's a matter of where to help. Are you able to visit on a weekend or holiday? Are you able to bring the kids too? There's nothing inherently wrong about not being excited about something, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't feel the warmth and love of those around him in the there and now. You've been with him for 29 years. If anyone knows how to keep your family together, it's gonna be you. You're a military spouse, so I'm rooting for you. Former military brat. As many others have said, counseling would be advised. We all need help sometimes. Prior military? Likely has some battles had talk with. That's an avenue to look at. Our lifestyle doesn't lend to healthy marriages for most, even if they are long ones. But really, it's important for you also to just communicate with him and be there to help him get the hell he needs. Persistence will pay off, and our partners are worth that time and effort. Bupropion. This is beyond depression, this is crisis. You need to go to him, ASAP. He needs you. Your husband is depressed and worst of all alone, and those two things will feed off of one another until nothing is left. Talk to your employer, inform them of what's going on, and get time off. Do whatever it takes to be there for him. You are his wife, and when you married him you made a promise to be there for one another. Us guys cannot fight depression alone, that is how it kills us, and I do not mean that metaphorically. We cannot do it by ourselves even with therapy. As a man, one of the easiest and probably most reliable ways to get us to feel even a little better is to try a new food. Whether it's a new culture or cuisine, an entirely new type of food, or just a classic that has a different spin on it. Or go take him to get a pedicure. I always feel better after a pedicure when I'm depressed, doubly so when my girlfriend takes me to get one together. If possible, you need to be in the same physical space as him. Being separated is only making it harder. When y'all are together, maybe suggest going to axe throwing, or a rage room, or something stress relieving, and just offer to talk and be your happiest around him, not to ignore his emotions, but in an effort to lift his. If you guys have a savings, now would be the time to maybe tap into that for a getaway, forget about our responsibilities in the world, and explore a little vacation. When you talk to him, try to understand what's got him feeling this loss of joy. It could be the loss of those men closest to him, and to that I suggest maybe a grief group or distractions with new activities and opportunities. Currently going through the same thing. Got out of the Marine Corps a couple of years ago and everything seems so low stakes and empty. I'm angry all the time, and generally have no idea where I'm going in life. I understand not wanting to go to therapy as I don't believe it's a catch-all solution to mental health issues. It can definitely help, but not if he's actively resisting it. Something that really helped me deal with the transition and all the shitty things that come along with it was connecting with other veterans. I'm lucky enough to have some of my old military friends live within a couple hours of me and still talk to the ones that live in different states. But if that's not an option, find local veteran groups, VFW clubs, or anywhere with a veteran population. It's extremely beneficial to talk to people that get it. The best thing you can do is just be there for him. A random hug or an extra "I love you and I'm here for you" is gonna go a long way. Best of luck to both of you. As a lifelong sufferer, the only advice that I consider good advice in this post is to do everything you can to get him to a professional or a doctor or anyone who can get you in contact with a professional. It's the only advice you really ought to take. Everything else is potentially playing with fire since you don't know the complexity of what may be going on. Remember this quote as well. Your mental illness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to look after it. I hope for the best for you and your family. I understand that you think it's unlikely he will consider therapy, and you may well be correct, but that is the solution to this problem, period. In the short term, tell him that instead of drinking at home like a loser, he should go out to a bar. Long term, that's not super healthy either, but being around people and engaging in some sort of social interaction is a lot better than just being isolated, alone, and depressed. Guk 5K.